What's going on, guys? This is Starblast Studios coming here with a brand new figure review, and today, guys, we're going to be taking a look at both the new SH Figuarts Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 from the new Dragon Ball Super superhero movie. These figures are infamous for having the new accessories for the SH Figuarts Ultimate Gohan, and so I know a lot of people are pretty upset that they included the accessories in like this. Before we get into any of that, let's just go ahead and take a look at the packaging. So obviously here with Gamma 1, this is how the box looks all the way around. And then here it is for Gamma 2. This is how the box looks for this one all the way around. And you know what? Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get these figures right out of the box and see what they're like outside of the packaging. And for those curious how the figures are displayed in the clamshell, here they are right over here. Obviously, Gamma 1 has a ton more accessories. Not even just for the Super Saiyan Gohan faces, but like, you know, all of like the interchangeable faces, whereas Gamma 2, he has just a few of that. And like, and for those curious about how the cape is, it seems that it's actually comes out in, oh, okay, well, it all comes out in one piece, surprisingly. Okay, I thought it would be like a separate piece from the back. All right, let's just go ahead and get these figures out. Alright, guys, so here we got the Gamma figures opened up and out of the packaging. Now, for both of these figures, they are relatively the same exact sculpt, so anything that I'm talking about regarding the sculpting and whatnot on one figure or articulation is going to apply to the other one as well. Taking a look at Gamma 1, when it comes to the colors on it, I do really like, you know, the way that it came out. The one, and this applies for both of them, the 1 and the 2 are done really nicely on there as well, exactly as how it should. These figures I felt came out very, very good. When it came to both of these characters, I felt that they were one of the best, if not the best part of the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie. I felt that their characters were very well done, and really I did enjoy their presence. One of the things that they are pretty much known for, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, is the way that they included all of the Gohan accessories to go alongside with these figures. Now, for me specifically, I was going to end up getting these figures anyway, but these Gohan head sculpts and whatnot, like the accessories, are a big bonus. We'll go over how they are in a little bit later when we talk about the accessories, but for how these figures came out, I'm actually pleasantly surprised at just how fun they are. When it comes to the paint apps, there's nothing, you know, really too crazy. They are like, you know, there's not really any shading going around. The colors are clean, everything on here is clean, but yet not really any shading to really go over here. But for the most part, the characters are incredibly accurate to, like, they look exactly as Gamma 1 and 2 looked. The one thing that I know some people are going to have problems with, especially with my buddy Daredevil 19, is that they pretty much, you know, did hard plastic capes, which later down the line, we're actually expecting him to, he's actually going to be sending me some capes later for Gamma 1 and 2, some cloth capes, so if that ever does, you know, come around, I will make sure to do a video on that as well. I'm really looking forward to those capes. But yeah, like, as for the figures, I feel like they do a good job. You know, they look well. There is like a matte finish here on the boots, which is accurate. Sorry, not a matte finish, like a shiny finish on the boots, which is, you know, it makes sense for that to be shiny. Not as much sense for the cape to be shiny in the back, but I mean it is plastic, so you can't really help that. But that's why it shouldn't be plastic. It should be made out of cloth. Dang it, Tamashi. This piece right over here is made out of a very nice soft rubber, and it doesn't get any in the way of hindering any articulation. Speaking of which, with the articulation, I think that is actually the strongest point when it comes to these figures. So let's actually go ahead and put Gamma 2 off to the side. This is exactly how the top of the head actually functions, so it just goes on like that. So you can actually, if you wanted to, just for the heck of it, take a Gamma 2 face and put it on Gamma 1. If you want to do that. Not sure why you would, but I mean, you can. Pretty decently. You get, like, you know, the range right there on the part of the neck, you know, the lower neck peg right there, moving that right around. You should be able to get a little bit more articulation out of it, but they didn't really do like a double ball peg like I felt like they should have, but, you know, it works out enough the way that it is. The arms can go out very, very well, up, down. You do have like this piece right over here, butterfly joint, very good. Moving the arm out to the sides and such, you know, really good amount of articulation right there. You do get a bicep swivel and then double jointed arms, which bend in very, very, very good. I love how that came out. Now, with the wrist, this is a very new piece of articulation. So it's like, it's a ball hinge. There's also like a piece that just, like, you know, rotates underneath the hinge, which is very, very interesting. But you get like a wrist swivel right out of there like that, so you can kind of, like, you know, move it around a little bit easier. I'm not exactly sure if I like this or not. And as a matter of fact, like when it comes to changing out the hands, it makes me feel, I don't know, a little bit nervous about doing that just because I don't want to pull out the, the entire peg and such. And then plugging it back in can be, a little bit finicky as well, since I'm so used to like that bit of the peg, staying still and such. But because there's that bit of articulation right there, messing around, like getting the hands in, can feel a little bit tricky when trying to use the alternate hands. And it's okay. See, I managed to get it in right there. Maybe it's just because I'm doing it on camera, but it can just feel, very troublesome at times. Before we continue with the articulation, there's one small problem I actually have with this face. I think I'm the only one that I know with this problem. But if you take a look at the actual face, you can kind of see that on that eye, there's like the line goes across, like like when they were with the it's a misprint. The line goes across the top, but you can also see parts of the iris bleeding onto the end, and also a bit of the yellow of his eye, like going through the top. So that is a bit unfortunate. If anything, if it was going to happen to any of the faces, I'm glad it's at the very least this one, because it's kind of somewhat the most pointless face, because it comes with another stern face you can just apply right over here and not really have to worry about it. Anyways, back to the articulation. The belt piece can move around, the gun piece can move around as well, so that we can kind of get it out of the way and not like have it be a hindrance to any of the posing and whatnot. This is amazing though. What I love about this is that the ab crunch can go this far forward. Now I know that it breaks the sculpt and such when you do that, but because of the cape, it's going to get covered anyway, and the amount of range that you get out of this is fantastic. And then of course you do get a waist swivel, and then actually utilizing both of the joints, you can get them going really far back as well, and there is no gapping. Well, there's a little bit of gapping, but right there, but not as much. Very, very good. I'm glad that they did it like that. This is actually something that a lot of the Goku figures were capable of doing for quite some time, but they put a piece of plastic in there so that it doesn't like allow for gapping. But it's something that I wish that they would actually keep in there, because even though it breaks the sculpt, it makes articulating the figure so much more fun and much more enjoyable. Now for the legs, it kicks up super duper duper high. Actually, this is insane. If you move this around, you can literally get the back of his foot to touch his head. I've never seen an SH Figuarts ever be able to articulate this smoothly. This is incredible. This is actually crazy. I love this. I think that this is the most articulated figure in the line right now, and you're gonna see why even more. You get the thigh swivel right there, perfect splits. The legs do seem to be a little bit weird. I don't know like why they specifically made it like that. I mean, it works, but it doesn't really matter too much. They work very well, like how they go. Oh yeah, you can move the legs pretty far back as well. There's like no limit to how these legs can move, and it's great. Double jointed knees, nice knee sculpt right there. A little bit of gapping right there when you bend it, but otherwise it is perfectly fine. No cut at the boot or anything like that, so it goes right down to the ankles. Now the ankles, unfortunately, the ankle articulation works with the double ball peg. And this is one of those instances where I wish they would have done it like how they did the articulation with Gohan over here. Just like a cut right there at the boot. Granted, I mean, I guess it's the same amount, but when you have the articulation like that and you don't have this piece of the foot actually hindering it, I find that you're able to get more range. It's just like with Marvel Legends, like with Marvel Legends, if you guys know what I'm talking about. But then yeah, afterwards you do get that bit of toe articulation. But overall, articulation on both very, very good. Love how the articulation just came out. It is the best part of this. It makes it so much more. It makes this figure a lot of fun to actually pose around. Again, these are some of the best articulated figures in the entire line, and it's like I can't think of any other figure like off the top of my head that has this much range as the Gammas here do. It is insane just how much articulation they have. Moving on to the accessories, let's go ahead and look at Gamma 2 for this one. So before we actually get into the hands, I'm going to show you guys how the gun works. So basically, it's just kind of in a halter, just like that. This is a separate piece that you can that's meant to plug in there. You do get a separate gun piece as for both, Gamma 1 and 2, and just to kind of like, have them, shown off side by side. They're the exact same sculpt, but painted differently and whatnot. Obviously, this one says 1 on the gun, this one says 2. and so you just like whenever you don't want to have the gun holstered, you just have him, you know, holding onto that. Now, when it comes to the facial expressions for Gamma 2, starting off with him, obviously you get the cocky smile impression right there, which, you know, very good. You know, I like how that face came out. You also get a stern face as well, you know, which is relatively what you should be getting on majority of your on your figures altogether. And then we get into this face. So I want to go ahead and talk about this smiling face real quick. When it comes to Gamma 2, he's been in Dragon Ball Super Superhero, he was portrayed to be a very like fun, go happy guy. And he'd be posing, he'd be messing around, he'd be kind of like be acting like the younger brother of Gamma 1, whereas with Gamma 1, he acted, you know, a little bit more mature. With this smiling face, I really wish that they would have made the eyes look straight, but that's not the only offense. So as you guys know, I really do not like it when the eyes look off to the side because I feel like it limits posability. But if they were going to have the eyes looking off to the side at all, why would you have them looking in this particular direction? In the movie, you saw him posing around in two different ways as he's smiling, and both of them have him looking off to the other side. One of which was when he first appeared before Piccolo, and he posed around saying, "I'm a superhero," and such. And then the other end, too, there was that one pose that this was also in the trailer as well for Dragon Ball Super Superhero, where he just kind of like leaned on Gamma 1, like, you know, like as he's standing up and he's moving around his hand. So for two inherent poses that you would be getting them in for something that's remembered in the movie, I don't understand why you would have the eyes looking off like this. And it's really funny because even in the promotional images for Gamma 2, they didn't even have him doing anything special. They just had him, you know, standing up and looking off to the side. And it's like, I feel like even they knew that they couldn't really do that. So, but they already made the face, so they were just like, oh, well, this is how it's going to work. It's really kind of disappointing. I wish they would have had him looking off to the other side. That's two offenses right here with this particular face. The final face we get for Gamma 2 is this screaming face, which is great. Now, I think some people, and again, we're going to go into a little bit of spoilers for Dragon Ball Super Superhero, so go to this timestamp in the video to not talk about it. I wish they would have also included like another, you know, yelling face where his eyes were lighting up as he was about to go sacrifice himself to go and kill Cell Max. That would have been really interesting to see them do, just for the sake of it. They did include much more facial expressions for Gamma 1, which I presume the only reason why they did that was because of the fact that Gamma 1 has actually survived. They're probably going to be doing more with him later in Dragon Ball Super if they ever do get around to that. Now, we're going to go into Gamma 1's faces before we get into the hands for Gamma 2. So again, we do get, you know, the two facial expressions for here, like the one, like, I don't know what you call this, like a neutral face, not really doing anything, the one with a messed up eye, and then the other one, which is a much more, like, I guess, serious-looking face for him. And then you also do get a screaming face for him as well. And then you also do get a teeth-gritted face, which you would think that this is actually the same sculpt, but, like, you know, as the one for Gamma 2, but, like, retooled. Looking at the two faces, yeah, you can see just the way that the mouths are sculpted are very different from one another. This is like, he seems like, with Gamma 2, he's much more, you know, like, cocky and whatnot with him, but he's more like, he seems to be more grinning out of, like, excitement or something like that, which, that little bit of subtlety between the faces right there is great. Okay, you get this terrified look for Gamma 1. This face would have been much more appropriate for Gamma 2, I think, himself, after he got terrified from Piccolo, from him turning orange and getting one shot. Like, this would have been a much more appropriate facial expression for Gamma 2, and I don't really know why they gave it to Gamma 1 in particular. It seems very strange to give him this facial expression and such. Okay, now going into the hands, starting off with Gamma 2 as well, obviously we do get, you know, a pair of fists, which comes on the figure right out of the packaging. And then you also get a pair of open palm blast hands, whatnot, which can also be used for grabbing hands. And then you do get a pair of hands which is meant to hold onto his gun. And then you also get a pair of Spider-Man web-slinging hands. No, but like this, he had this thing with his hands that he just did, you know, in the movie when he was posing around and such. He also comes with a pair of karate chop type of hands. And now when it comes to the hands for Gamma 1 in particular, He comes with pretty much all of those exact hands that Gamma 2 came with, but he doesn't come with the Spider-Man hands. You know, so like again, yeah, so you get like open palm hands, karate chop types of hands, and the gun holding hands. Yeah, none of the Spider-Man hands, which is I think is fine, you know, relatively speaking. He doesn't need them. Actually, there's much more accessories that he comes with when it comes to the facial expressions than Gamma 2. I do wish that Gamma 2 did come with more accessories, but otherwise that's fine. And then another thing that he comes with is a pair of crossed arms, and you can actually get this pair of crossed arms on both of these figures if you wanted to, which is only possible to do with Gamma 2 if you do get the Gamma 1, but they are interchangeable enough to actually be able to do it. So, you know, just again, it came with Gamma 1, but just for the sake of it, let me just go ahead and show it off on Gamma 2. And again, with the arms, it's very easy to come off. No problems with that right there. Again, because they are the same sculpt and whatnot. And now here Gamma 2 is with the crossed arms attached. They are a little bit difficult to finagle on, but that's the same exact thing for Gamma 1. It works out pretty well. Also, when it came to the articulation, I forgot to mention that the cape, you know, has a hinge on there and such and can somewhat rotate, although it can be a little bit easy to remove the cape on Gamma 2. But, you know, not the end of the world. It just came off when I was trying to remove it and such when that was working. But otherwise, yeah, this is how the crossed arms work. Now, for the rest of the actual accessories, let's go ahead and get into, you know, the Gohan. When it comes to Gamma 2, he obviously comes with the Gohan cape, which you apply right there, and then you also get, you know, this base form head for Gohan. I did do a YouTube short going into these accessories a little bit more, so I will leave a thing right over here on the top right, so you guys can go ahead and check that out. It's really good, and I also do like, and just, you know, just for the simple fact of going over it here in the review, the glasses here on this head, which again, this head looks really nice. I do love how this came out. This head has, like, you can take off the glasses. That is just really cool. But, and also, like, if you're wondering whether or not the ultimate faces from the Shfiguarts can fit onto that hair, they can, because you will probably, what you'll have to do is you'll have to end up trimming the pegs in order to actually get it to fit. Again, I did go over this a little bit in my YouTube short, so I definitely suggest you go ahead and check that out right there. Now, for the Gamma 1 accessories, what you get with this Gohan is, you know, is you get the Super Saiyan head. And this is actually like a brand new sculpt, very much so differently than how it was sculpted on the regular one. This is my Gohan that's, you know, with the AJ custom kit and whatnot. It looks very similar, but the sculpt is different. They didn't really need to change it, but I'm glad that they did. When it comes to the facial expressions for Gohan, because obviously you do get like a stern face on here. Okay, and then you also get, you know, a screaming face, and then you do get the teeth gritted face on here as well. But yeah, they're pretty much the same faces, but just the only difference is, you know, in this head sculpt and such is, you know, the hair that they go on. But that's really it when it comes to that. Now for a quick size comparison, here are the Gammas standing right next to the SH Shfiguarts Super Saiyan Warrior Awakened Goku, the Dragon Ball Super superhero version of Piccolo, and then the Gohan that we just previously went over. Now for my final thoughts on these figures, I really do enjoy how these figures came out. Now, unfortunately, because of the fact that these figures are a premium Bandai exclusive, you're not going to actually be able to get these for the same price that they were originally sold for. Now getting the actual Gohan accessories is going to be a pain for anyone who finds out about these figures right now and wants to pick them up, but, you know, it's really unfortunate. You'd have to pick it up, you know, with a little bit of that aftermarket pricing when it comes to these figures. And more likely than not, if people are going to be selling these figures, they're likely going to be selling them without the Gohan accessories that they originally came with. And that is a shame, because I know that people would want to get the figures for that, but at the same time, as figures themselves, I find that they're actually very fun. It is unfortunate that they included such integral accessories when it came to these figures, as that's probably the only reason why that they felt that, you know, the figures were going to sell at all. But as figures, I dare say that these might be, you know, the funnest figures we've had from Shfiguarts in a while, because of the fact that they're so well articulated. Personality-wise, in the movie, they were actually really enjoyable. Now, when it comes to how Gohan is, and how the line has pretty much been treating his figure, people have been saying that he is kind of a Build-A-Figure, and I mean, I think that is a bit of an exaggeration, but I do understand that, you know, they're pretty much including a multiple ton of different parts with an already existing Gohan figure just to go along with it. Now, and I know that more people than not would have just wanted to get the Gohan figure in general. Pretty sure everyone here would have rather have gotten, you know, this Gohan figure, or the Ultimate Gohan, with what the Ultimate Gohan head, for like, you know, $60 or something, and had it come with all of, like, you know, the expressions that we had gotten on here. But at the same time, then you probably would have just had to get, you know, another Gohan, then, you know, the exact same sculpt and, you know, everything else like that, and not have it be included with the Gammas. Had they went about it differently, would you guys have minded them being, you know, in like multiple different figures? Would you have wanted the Gohan to just, you know, be, you know, this Gohan body and such, with it including the accessories that have come with? I think a lot of people would have massively preferred that overall. The figures themselves, if it's going to make anyone feel better and they're trying to get, you know, get it, they are legitimately, you know, fun enough to pose around and mess around with. But I know people are going to be getting it for Gohan, and, you know, that's just how it is. Anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the figure review. Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys in there. Till then.
Alrighty guys, well, I got you here. If you like this video, make sure to smash that like button for me. And for even more amazing content, subscribe to the channel. And I'm always checking it out to keep an eye on this guy. Thanks for watching. Bye!